defeated in the first game by Pete Tontis. Here in the second, he is bowling veteran Bill Lillard. All trying to get into the finals, which is worth $10,000 to the winner, $5,000 to the loser. We'll be back in just a minute with the balance of today's second round-robin match.
This is it, the new gyro balance ball by Ebonite, world's first and only professional bowling ball. And this is Don Carter, the man who conceived it. Over there, Carmen Salvino, Ray Bluth, Harry Smith, Bill Allen, and Billy Hartwig, some of the greatest bowlers in the world today. Every one of these men bowls for a living, and every one bowls Ebonite's new Don Carter gyro balanced ball. Custom balanced to control your hook precisely. Custom weighted on top to put the power where the pins are. Why are so many pros making the big switch to Ebonite? Simply because they win more money with it. That's the ball, the pro ball, the custom ball with the big Y that puts the power where the pins are. Ebonite's new Don Carter gyro balance, the ball that gives you the Ebonite edge. Since Don Carter gyro balance balls take longer to build, make sure you order yours now.
Here you see a portion of the fans, some 2,000, and whoever said that Milwaukee fans are not loyal fans and big sports fans is wrong. Bill Lillard, working on a spare, shooting in the fourth frame. Ten pin for Bill Lillard.
Great shot, though, Chris.
This tournament is worth lots of money. There you see, in the champagne buckets, 10,000 $1 bills. Go to the winner today. Heavily guarded, too, I might add. So Bill Lillard, who is trailing by 10 pins, will be shooting in the fifth frame, working on a spare. Next week, we're in St. Paul for the St. Paul Open. 2 weeks from today, Toledo, then Buffalo, Depew, New York, and then the $100,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions. There he gets the strike. And Bill shakes his head, finally. And that'll make the adrenaline flow a little bit. Meanwhile, Jim Stepanish has a double going for him. Shooting in the fifth frame. A 10 pin on lane 62. 9 pins separating these two in a very important second round robin match. Winner gets $10,000, and there it is. No fooling. In those buckets, heavily guarded here by the men in blue.
Yeah, they were packaging that in those buckets in the locker room, and I noticed several of the boys feverishly looking at the money, Chris. But with those guards there wasn't much chance of a heist.
See there, it's pretty green color in it.
Something about that money, Chris. It looks so pretty.
Jim Stepanish shooting in the sixth frame, working on a spare.
Very good speed.
Beautiful, Billy. Bill Lillard. 1956, the ABC, the Masters, the All Events. What a year. Left a 7 pin on lane 62. What happened to that shot, Billy?
Chris, he was a little tighter with his line. He swung the ball the last time there and left the 10, so he wanted to go very direct, and he was just a fraction too straight.
This is a man that at one time had the prettiest hook I've ever seen.
Right, Chris. He's been one of the players victimized by the change in conditions where the lanes are hooking more today. With his big hook, it was almost uncontrollable. As you can see now, he has cut the hook down, and he is very, very direct into the pocket, and this is the style that is prevalent on the tour today.
one of the few sports, Billy, where conditions are always changing, always changing. In other words, you still hit a green on a golf course from this same fairway, different grass, of course, in different sections of the country. Strike for Bill Lillard in the 7th frame. And the 25-year-old Jim Stefanich from Joliet, Illinois, is ready to fire, and we'll watch his shot, double exposure camera work. Averted a split, leaving only the 8th pin. Incidentally, speaking of changing conditions, ABC television this year has cream of the crop from golf, starting with the Tournament of Champions, April 16th and 17th, with the United States Open, the PGA, the British Open Live via the satellite, the Women's Open, the Men's Amateur, and so on down the line. Exclusively ABC. This is the second round-robin match. Bill Lillard, in the third and final round-robin match, will be bowling Pete Tontis, who beat Stefanich, at whom we're looking in the first 2, 14-183. Double for Jim Stefanich.
He's looking real good on lane 61, but he can't quite get the perfect roll on lane 62.
9 pins separating these two professionals. And Bill Lillard now shooting for a double, as you see. Gets it. Bill Lillard with a double, 2 strikes in the 7th and 8th. And he'll be shooting in the 9th, going for 3 in a row. Double exposure camera work. Capacity crowd watching.
He's looking mighty neat, too, Chris, in those gray slacks with that powder blue shirt.
1 pin separating. He can take the lead. Bill Lillard crossing over. That gives him 3 strikes in a row, and it gives him an 11-pin lead. There he is, 38 years old, 25-year-old Jim Stefanich, going for a double. 10 pin. Tough break.
Just speaking about the good roll for Jim on lane 62, that time he had it a little too good. He had a little too much power and sent that 6-pin over the top of the 10.
Cross lane. Trailing by 11. Marks in the 9th frame. He'll step over to 61 now and shoot in the 10th. Jim Stefanich coming right down to the wire, trailing by 11 pins. He was in the lead. Beautiful hit. The strike in the 10th.
Chris, that strike by Stefanich forces Bill Lillard to mark in the 10. If Stefanich makes another strike and gets a good count on the field ball, then he will force Bill Lillard to double.
Double exposure as we look at Lillard, now Stefanich. Left the 4-pin on lane 61. Jim Stefanich, youngster on the tour, and a boy that we expect a lot of things from in the future. A boy that's traveled as a member of American teams to Mexico and Venezuela when he was still an amateur. We're here in Milwaukee, home of the ABC, the American Bowling Congress. Double exposure. Bill Lillard going for 4. He has it. The Texan, Bill Lillard, has strung together 4 in a row, and he has won this game, which means that Jim Stephanish, in losing to Tontis in the first and now Lillard in the second, will have finished 4th and gets $2,000. So the next third round robin match, the winner of that goes into the finals, and it is going to be a big, big match. It'll be between Lillard and Tontis. Five in a row for Bill Lillard.
He's really looking good now, Chris.
And an isolated videotape view of that last shot.
See a little pump motion in the push away there. Very high kick and a lot of power in that follow through.
Almost like ballet. Back live now. That's the 4-pin, and Bill Lillard has shot a big 224. A 194, as you see, for Jim Stephanish, who has finished 4th as a result of his 2 losses, 1 to Tontis and now to Lillard. So coming up, it'll be Lillard against Tontis to determine which man will go to the finals against Ted Hoffman. We'll be back in just a minute with the third round robin match of the Miller High Life Open.
Well, Pete gets the beer frame. 4 more Miller High Life, please.
All right. The beer frame's on me, but watch this.
Shoot, champ. Go ahead, champ.
What happened? That's just the way I played it.
There, Pete. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy life with a clear, clean taste in beer. Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer. Here's flavor with a deep down goodness. Sparkling with a special lightness. Miller High Life, the clear, clean taste in beer. Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer.
Brother, that's good.
Miller High Life never misses, huh, Pete?
Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer.
Sparkling, flavorful, distinctive.
Back again, over 2,000 fans packed into the Bolero as Pete Tontis now shooting a practice ball. He won the first game against Jim Stephanish, 214 to 183. Lillard beat Stephanish 224 to 194, and the man that wins this match head-to-head then goes into the final against the tournament leader, Ted Hoffman. The man who finishes 3rd gets $4,000. If you win this tournament, you get $10,000. You finish 2nd, you get $5,000. So a lot of money at stake. Tontis, first shot. Left the 4-pin on lane 61. Tontis from Hammond, Indiana. Thus far this year has earned $2,325. He is eligible for the Tournament of Champions in Akron because he won at Waukegan. It's a spare for Pete Tontis. Now Bill Lillard, who shot a big 224 just a few moments ago in downing Jim Stephanish.
There's that tight line, Chris.
Bill Lillard. Billy Whaley, you're from Houston, a great city. Didn't Lillard live in Houston at one time?
No, he bowled there in several tournaments, but he lived in Dallas, Chris.
Double exposure. And it's 2 in a row for Bill Lillard. And he is still alive for the $10,000 that ABC television will give to the first person that rolls a 300 or perfect game on our show. This is our 5th year, and we have yet to give that check away. Pete left the 610. We'd like to remind you that ABC begins its exclusive coverage of the world's greatest golf tournaments with the Tournament of Champions April 16th and 17th from Las Vegas. This tournament includes only winners of major PGA tournaments during the past year. Palmer, Player, Nicklaus, Casper, all eligible. $20,000 to the winner, Tournament of Champions, April 16th and 17th, exclusively on ABC. Two spares. Look at the footwork of Tatis. First strike for Pete. 27-year-older from Hammond, Indiana. Now 38-year-old Bill Lillard, who rolled a 224 in his first game against Jim Stefanich, is going for 3 in a row. Bill Lillard. Well, Billy, there's only 9 more to go.
And that strike, Chris, brought a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd as that ball swept out the 5.
Looking at Pete Tatis, now Bill Lillard going for 4 in a row, using all of the approach here at the Bolero Lanes. Still alive for that $10,000 if he can roll a perfect game. Now Pete Tatis, who's had the pressure put on him by 4 strikes in a row, is now trying for a double, shooting in the 4th frame. And Pete has his double. Trailing by 22 pins now. As Pete Tatis goes for a turkey or 3 in a row, we watched the shot, ABC double exposure. Bill Lillard will be watching too. Leaving the 6 pin. Tatis won the first game over Stefanich, 214 to 183. Lillard came back to beat Stefanich, 224 to 194. So as we say, the man that wins this match goes into the finals against Ted Hoffman of Philadelphia for the $10,000 first prize. In a row, 7 to go. Bill Lillard. Going for 6 in a row, shooting in the 6th frame. Well, that breaks the string. 5 in a row, and in the 6th frame, Bill Lillard of Dallas has left the 6 pin. Relieves the tension a little bit. Disappoints Bill, I'm sure, because now he'd like to get that $10,000 for rolling a perfect game. Bill Lillard in the lead by 32 pins here at the Bolero Lanes in the Miller High Life Open. As we'll be back in just a minute with the balance of today's 3rd round-robin match.
Sherwin-Williams Chem Glow is the enamel you can wash. and wash and wash. You can wash off finger marks, spills and stains, cooking spatters, smudges. And that's important because it's the washing that usually wears out the paint, but not Chem-Glow enamel. It looks and washes like baked enamel. For kitchen and bathroom walls and woodwork throughout the house, Chem-Glow, made by Sherwin-Williams. The people who bring you high-quality paints for home and industry. Look for this Cover the Earth trademark.
Back again at the Bolero Lanes, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Going now into the last stage of the third head-to-head round-robin match. Pete Tontis trailing by 32 pins against Bill Lillard. It's a third strike for Tontis in 6 frames, going against Bill Lillard, who opened with 5 in a row and then marked with a spare.
And Chris, like Bill's wife Dorothy is watching, we know Pete's wife Sandy is watching at home in Tucson. She's a great fan, of course, and pulls very hard for Pete.
A double for Pete Tontis. And that cuts Bill Lillard's lead to 22 pins. The man that wins this match goes into the finals. There could be a difference of $6,000 of winning or losing this. Because if you lose, you finish third and get $4,000. But if you get into the finals and win, you get $10,000. Wow. And Bill Lillard has come up with a devastating split. Isolated camera videotape stop action on that last shot. Here it is. Now back live. 6-7, Bill Lillard. Really went for it, trying to sneak that 6 over and take out the 7. So there's an open frame for Bill Lillard. And that cuts his lead to 9 pins. In other words, by having that open, it erased 13 pins from his margin, his leading margin. And now, let's see if Bill can bounce back. 5 in a row spare and an open frame now shooting in the 8th. Bill nearly fell off the approach, hoping that the 10 pin would drop. It did. So we'll have to shoot the 7 now. As we go down to the wire, a reminder that the winner goes into the finals. The loser gets $4,000. So now Pete Tontis, who doubled with strikes in the 6th and 7th. One time he was trailing by 32 pins. Now he trails by only 9. And it's a split, as you see, for Pete Tontis. Coming in the 8th frame. It's the 6-7-10.
He caught that one real good, Chris. He got a super lift on that ball, which caused it to break too much for him.
Pete trying for it. So like Lillard, he now has an open. Lillard's coming in the 7th. Tontis is coming in the 8th. Stop action videotape of that try.
There you could see, Chris, it looked like it would make it, but he sailed the ball to keep it from hooking on the spare and sailed it just a little too much.
Good recovery with a strike in the 9th.
He's still alive, Pete.
Bill Lillard, who was only leading by 9, but by virtue of the open frame, now leads by 26 pins. Lillard's 6th strike and 9 frames here in this third and deciding round-robin match.
Chris, as we head into the final frame, we mentioned Pete was still alive. Bill Lillard's task now is this, to mark in the 10th. If he can mark in the 10th, he will be the winner.
All right. Look at that, Billy. Isolated camera videotape of that last shot. Here it is. And like a dancing bowler, a pin danced over and is nestled right against the 5.
Some very bizarre pin action, Chris, as the 7 pin came over to slide past the 8 pin spot and stand on the deck.
Solid hit carrying them.
Bill stood in awe for a moment as he pondered just how to shoot it because it was a funny-looking spare.
Let's see the isolated camera videotape of that hit by Lillard. Back live. And Bill Lillard has won this third and deciding round-robin match, and that means he goes into the finals. A man coming back after a great year in 1956, going against 27-year-old Pete Taunton. And we must say that Bill Lillard is back in his game. He rolled a 224 in the first, beating Stefanich, and now has come back with a 225 against Pete Taunton. The 1, the 2, and the 10. Pete Taunton, who won his first match, but then lost in the deciding one to Bill Lillard. Lillard with a 255. Taunton with a 188. There they are. So that means that Bill Lillard will be the man that will go against Ted Hoffman for the $10,000 first prize. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Miller High Life Open.
By 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm starting to get a headache. And the children are in the house, and usually 5 or 6 children around the television set in the family room while I'm trying to prepare dinner. I don't know what would happen if I had to lie down when I get a headache.
When you can't take time out for a headache, take Excedrin. It's strong enough to work while you do.
And I know now, really, Excedrin, when I take it, it makes it go away.
Excedrin analgesic tablets, the extra strength pain reliever.
Game, set, match, Mr. Buckholz.
Earl Buckholz can tell you it's a one-man game, but you sweat for a whole team. Greasy kid stuff. Can't make hair look natural. But Vitalis can, because only Vitalis has B7, the greaseless grooming discovery. Earl's hair stays in place, and there's no grease on his hair or his comb. Vitalis keeps your hair neat all day, without grease.
Back again at the Valero Lanes, Milwaukee, waiting the start of the big final match worth $10,000 to the winner. Immediately following today's Pro Bowlers Tour, ABC's Wide World of Sports will bring you one of the world's great stock car championships, the Daytona 500. You see the latest stock cars approaching speeds of 200 miles an hour at the famous Daytona Speedway. Our cameras also will journey to Oslo, Norway, to the world-famous Holmenkollen for the World Ski Jumping Championship. ABC's Wide World of Sports, 5 p.m., 4 Central Time over most of these ABC stations. Well, Billy, with Bill Lillard getting into the finals against Ted Hoffman, here's an opportunity for us to bring the folks at home or wherever they're watching our telecast up to date on how the top 16 finished here in Milwaukee. Let's take a look at the standings. Here they are.
There you see Ted Hoffman, Bill Lillard, Jim Stepnich, and Pete Thomas, the top four. Our alternate here today, Bud Horn, who finished in the 5th position. Marv Lowry from Birmingham, Bob Strampy from Detroit, and Ray Kohler from Bayshore, New York.
Who, in finishing 8th in this $60,000 tournament, picked up $1,400. Then Al Thompson was 9th of Cleveland. Harry O'Neill of Charleston, South Carolina.
Andy Marzich returned to the bowling wars in making the finals. And then Don Johnson from Kokomo, Indiana.
And will you catch that 13th spot? Billy Waylow returned to the wars, and Billy earned $1,150, and with his $10,000 that he gets for doing this telecast, wow, Billy.
I'm going to be catching you, Chris.
Harry Smith of Redwood City, the old pro. Another pro, Dick Weber's 15th, and Tom Long, lefty from Anaheim, California, finished 16th. We'll be back in just a minute with the final match of the Miller High Life Open.
For Muriel Cigars, the Adams Sisters, Edith, Editha, and Edie.
We're here to entertain you from the world of movie stars. We're here to sing the praises of Muriel Cigars. Corona, Magnum, Canatella Extra, too. 3 great 10-cent Muriel cigars is especially for you.
Get the rich taste you smoke for, the mildness you hope for. So much more cigar for only 10 cents. Try Muriel Coronas, Magnum, or Panatella Extra.
We'd like to have you join the crowd that's smoking mild today. Just try a pack of Muriel and you'll be on your way to greater smoking pleasure and a taste that is sublime. Why don't you pick one up and smoke it sometime? Smoke Muriel Mild cigars.
See the Sunday night movie tomorrow night here on ABC.
The $60,000 Miller High Life Open Tournament has reached its final stage. Bill Lillard, in winning 2 of the 3 round-robin matches with games of 224 and 225, is in the finals now against Ted Hoffman, the tournament leader. The winner of this match gets $10,000, the loser $5,000. Bill Lillard shooting first on lane 61. Leaving the 4-pin on lane 61. Bill Lillard, who hasn't had a great deal of success since 1956 when he was the bowler of the year, is really making a comeback here in, thus far, the richest tournament on the PBA Tour, the $60,000 Miller High Life Open. Somewhat cross lane for the 4-pin by Lillard. And now today, here's our first look at 26-year-old Teddy Hoffman from Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania, which is a small suburb of Philadelphia. Leaving a solid 10 on lane 62. Real good young bowler. First chance to win a PBA tournament. Competed in 20 tournaments last year and won 11,000, averaging 205. And this final match worth $10,000 to the winner is all tied up after a frame. Isolated camera videotape of Hoffman. Hoffman. A 4-pin, as you see, on lane 61. You veteran pros, Billy, have high hopes for this 26-year-older.
Yes, we really do, Chris. He's a real fine player. While he's on the telecast today for the first time, he's played very well on the tour this past year. He was second in Birmingham this summer, and he turns the ball very well. Very tight line.
Against Bill Lillard, who has marked with a spare in the first, now shooting in the second. Booming strike by Bill Lillard. Lillard takes a 1-pin lead. And now we'll move over to 61, looking for a double. Lillard, 38 years old, from Dallas, Texas. Bowling Ted Hoffman, 26 years old, from Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. A double for Bill Lillard, who in the second game he rolled, put together 5 in a row and bowled a 225. His first game at 224, and Ted Hoffman's the tournament leader, so this is his first game. It's the final game, working on a spare. Gets his strike in the third frame.
There was a great shot of that tight inside line that Teddy has been using throughout the tournament. The ball looked like it would be high, and it packed. It stayed right there.
The winner of this match will become eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions, our final stop on our PBA tour. It's a double for Ted Hoffman. So these two pros are battling for the $10,000 first prize, and we'll be back with the balance of today's final match.
Wherever wheels are turning, no matter what the load, the name that's known is Firestone. Where the rubber meets the road, if you're carrying steel or tilling the soil, gonna visit Grandma or looking for oil, for the youngest driver and the real old pro, for a jet to land or a lawn to mow, for moving mountains or for stalking geese, following a golf ball or keeping the peace. Wherever wheels are turning, no matter what the load, the name that's known is Firestone. Where the rubber meets the road.
Firestone, your symbol of quality and service.
And as a championship should be, worth $10,000. This is a tight one. 1 pin separating 2 professionals, members of the PBA. Bill Lillard, you're looking at him right now, going against the tournament leader, Ted Hoffman. Lillard has 2 in a row, looking for 3-bagger.
There's one of those hit 'em thin and watch 'em spin strikes, Chris. Beautiful to watch.
Here are executives of the Miller Brewing Company, our sponsors. First, Mr. Harold Cushenberry, Director of Marketing, and his wife, and then Mr. and Mrs. Bill Stevens, he's Director of Sales, and also C.H. Matty Matheson, been a pioneer in sponsorship of professional sports, football, golf, and bowling. And now Bill Lillard is faced with a 6-7-10. He had 3 in a row, and then Bill shakes his head and videotape stop action of that last shot.
Listen, there you see the ball breaking high and hitting the ball, the head pin right on the nose, and of course the very difficult 6-7-10.
So it's an open frame for Bill Lillard. And it sort of opens the door for Ted Hoffman, We're reaching the halfway point of this final match. 10,000 of the winner. The loser gets 5,000. Already, Pete Tontis has won 3,000 for finishing third, and Jim Stefanich 2,000 for finishing fourth. And it's a three-bagger for 26-year-old Teddy Hoffman, the tournament leader. And it gives him a 14-pin lead as a result of 3 in a row and Lillard opening. Double exposure coverage coming up.
Come on.
Averting a split. And Teddy sort of lets out a little breath as he'll have to now shoot the 6-pin. There are 4 big tournaments left on this year's Pro Bowlers Tour, climaxed by the $100,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions in Akron on Saturday, April 2nd on the ABC television network. Bill Lillard now. Let's see what he can do after an open frame on the 5th, shooting the 6th. You see that big O there, 105. Trailing by 13 pins. And like the pro that he is, striking after an open.
He's very comfortable on lane 62, Chris, but on lane 61, I think he fears it hooking a little bit more. He's been trying to place the shot and been a little slow.
As Bill Lillard goes for a double, we have double exposure of the shot. Left the 6-pin. Bill having his problems with lane 61. Lillard had an open in each of his 2 matches that he won, 224 and 225. He's had one here, now going for the 6-pin. And now Teddy Hoffman, who had 3 in a row, then marked with a spare in the 6th, as you see, will be shooting in the 7th. Tournament leader bowling his first game today. Strike in the 7th frame for Teddy Hoffman.
And our audience watching today, Chris, are Hank Marino, bowler of the half century, and Frank Benkovic, both members of bowling's Hall of Fame.
There you see Hoffman's lead, going for a double.
Go, go!
Left the 10-pin on lane 61. Teddy Hoffman bowling Bill Lillard for the tournament championship. As we look at Lillard, Hoffman gets ready to shoot the 10-pin on lane 61. In a few anxious moments, Teddy did as he nearly blew the 10-pin. Here's Lillard now, working on a spare, shooting in the 8th frame. Trails by 13 pins. Big strike. And the 8th for Bill Lillard. He's bowling Teddy Hoffman. You're watching Teddy right now. Next week, it will be the St. Paul Open.
Chris, I would say this is the key frame of the match now for Lillard. He needs a double to tighten the match, but also, more important, on his lane 61, which has given him the most trouble.
A 4-pin on lane 61. Bill really wanted that one. You just joined us. Jim Stefanich of Joliet, Illinois, finished 4th. Pete Thomas finished 3rd. And now it's Lillard and Hoffman. A spare for Bill Lillard in the 9th frame, and that brings up Teddy Hoffman, who'll be working on a spare. Leading by 13 pins. There's a difference of $5,000 in winning or losing.
And Teddy's wife, Marilyn, is home watching. She was going to fly out this morning, but her plane was weathered in Philadelphia.
Big strike in the 9th frame for Teddy Hoffman.
Masterful performance for this young player, Chris.
Bill Lillard, his opponent. It is a split for Ted Hoffman. Isolated videotape camera work of that last shot.
There you could see him pulling hard for that ball to strike. He knew it was there. He rolled it a trifle too good, and it finished too powerful and left that difficult 4-9 split. He's a difficult situation now, Chris. He plays it cozy, goes for one, and forces Lillard to double.
So the work is all cut out for the veteran Bill Lillard. Bill Lillard must double. And there's a difference, as we said, of $5,000 of winning or losing. $10,000 to the winner, $5,000 to the loser. Look at the perspiration. There's one. What a match in the $60,000 Miller High Life Open. These professionals are tremendous.
Chris, we mentioned that Teddy Hoffman had a difficult decision. In shooting at that spare, if he elected to try and make it and miss both of them, then Lillard could win with the first strike. In making one, it forces Lillard to get 2 strikes. He has gotten the first one. Bill Lillard needs this strike to win the Miller Open.
Here it is, a $5,000 pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, right here, Hoffman has already rolled a 206. If he can strike here, he is the winner. He's the winner! Bill Lillard, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Lillard, one of the great comebacks in professional sports. Here, videotape. Got a right to be happy. Bill Lillard, what a job he's done. He's won 3 matches here to win $10,000 in the right to go into the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Whew.
Chris, that's the most excited I've ever seen Bill Lillard in 20 years of bowling. Stays behind the line.
Banging 3 in a row and coming up with a double when he needed it. Rolling a 215. He had 3 games of 224, 225, and 215 to down Teddy Hoffman by 9 pins. And a difference of 9 pins means a difference of $5,000. Bill Lillard of Dallas, Texas, has won the $10,000 first prize of the Miller High Life Open. And Teddy Hoffman, the tournament leader, beaten by only 9 pins, finishes second and gets $5,000. Dick Weber, who was given the Bowler of the Year trophy, is just going over to congratulate Bill Lillard. A very, very nice gesture. There you see Dick coming by and patting the shoulder of Stefanich Tontis and shaking the hand of Teddy Hoffman. So it's a great Miller High Life Open champion. I can't think of a better one than 38-year-old Bill Lillard. Billy, what about that last one? In the 5 years we've done it, that's one of the most exciting final games we have had.
Very exciting, Chris. A very tough break for Ted Hoffman, but very exciting finish for Bill Lillard.
And, of course, it just puts the climax on a fantastic professional sports tournament. And the Miller Brewery, the Milwaukee Bowling Proprietors, The Junior Chamber of Commerce, along with the PBA, deserve a lot of credit, and they have, and Bill Lillard, at whom we're looking, a great champion. Let's take a look at the money-winning board now. Weber, and look who's in second. Dick Weber, who was the leading money winner last year, and with his $10,000 victory today, Bill Lillard is in second, Dave Davis is third.
Ski Ferensky, the winner last week.
And, of course, Les Schisler from Denver, Colorado, who's on the mend, and we hope he's back in action soon. Great victory by Bill Lillard. Tough loss for a fine youngster, Teddy Hoffman of Pennsylvania. We'll be right back to meet the winner of the Miller High Life Open.
I don't think I can go through with it.
Go through with what?
That speech I have to give tonight. I'm sure my dentures will act up, give me trouble.
Wait a minute. Mother got a new denture adhesive to try out. I think it's called Orifix. She says it's great.
Orifix? I'll get some today.
Be comfortable, be confident with the holding power of Orifix denture adhesive. Today's Orifix contains an adhesive substance so remarkable that one thin, tasteless film seals dentures to gums with an airtight, watertight seal. Air cannot loosen it. Liquids cannot melt it away. One application holds all day. Yes, you can be comfortable, be confident with the long-lasting holding power of Orifix.
Thank you.
You were great, dear.
I sure was confident. Say, let's go get a steak.
You are confident.
Be comfortable, be confident with the holding power of Orifix.
Watch the thrilling Daytona 500 Stock Car Championship and the World Ski Jumping Championship, both on ABC's Wide World of Sports today. At Daytona Beach, Florida, watch the country's top drivers race late model automobiles at speeds averaging up to 180 miles an hour on the high bank turns and fast straightaways of the Daytona International Speedway. At Oslo, Norway, watch an impressive U.S. team compete with champions from the Soviet Union, East Germany, Norway, and Finland in the World Ski Jumping Championship. See both these great events on ABC's Wide World of Sports this afternoon on ABC.
Well, as Earl Gillespie and I used to say, doing Braves games and other sports, a thriller from Miller. And we've had another one here today. And the three people that finished below Bill Lillard, I think they deserve a round of applause from this capacity crowd. And first of all, from Joliet, Illinois, a fine youngster that's going to go far, Jim Stefanich. Jim, come here. Nice going, Jim. Here's $2,000. Good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
Jim Stefanich, ladies and gentlemen. And now the man that finished third, from Hammond, Indiana, now living in Tucson, $3,000 for Pete Tontis. To Conyers.
All right.
Nice going, Pete. We'll see you soon, including the Firestone Tournament of Champions, right?
Right. Thank you very much.
Okay, very good. And how about a nice round of applause for the man that finished second, losing only by 9 pins, Teddy Hoffman, 26 years old. Teddy? Oh, that was a tough one, wasn't it?
Well, I tried my best. I guess if you can't win, the best place is second. And I will say, though, I'd like to congratulate Bill. He needed it in the 10th frame, and he got it, and you can't take it away from him. He's a real champion.
Well, you're 26, he's 38, so you've still got a little time. And I know Mrs. Hoffman, who wanted to fly here but was fogged in Philadelphia, will win half of that $5,000.
She'll get it, too.
Okay. Thank you. Teddy Hoffman. And now, I know today had to be the biggest thrill in this man's life, who had the pleasure of doing events with back in 1954. So here he is, the Miller High Life Open champion, and richer by 10 grand. Bill Lillard, here he is.
12 years, I sure have. I don't know whether Billy, I mentioned to Bill earlier about Tom Hennessy saying something about a 1954 rerun today. We didn't want to lose our audience, and I hope we didn't.
Yeah, but you know, there are never residuals like this.
No.
$10,000.
Hey, you know, Weber was on the show a couple weeks ago and won $5,000 and said he was going to keep it all. There's no chance at home this week. I've got to send that whole thing back, I'll tell you that.
In fact, I heard you being paged on the phone. I think Mrs. Lillard has already called.
Oh, you know it.
Bill, that was a tough situation at the end, wasn't it?
Listen, Chris, I don't know what to do. I'd hate to have to throw one more ball, but something comes to mind. Buddy Bomars, the team captain, taught me to bowl more or less, and he used to say, when you need a strike, I guess the best way to think about it, I don't know whether it'll help you get it or not, but heads you do, tails you don't. So I just flipped a coin with that last ball, and it came up heads.
Hey, speaking of coins and things green, Mr. Harold Cushenberry, Director of Marketing for the Miller Brewery here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great sports fan, has a big champagne bucket full of 10,000 $1 bills. Harold?
Congratulations, Bill. Thank you. On behalf of the Miller Brewing Company, the makers of the champagne and bottled beer, I want to present to you this champagne bucket trophy filled with the winner's award. $10,100 bills. Take it or leave a few.
That's a few there.
Harold, thank you very much. Your time is up. Congratulations on staging a great tournament. Good luck to you, Bill.
Thank you, Chris.
See you soon. Bill Lillard, ladies and gentlemen. The next stop on Pro Bowlers Tour, St. Paul, Minnesota, will again bring you the final rounds of another great bowling tournament, the PBA St. Paul Open, from the All-Star Bowl. That's 1 week from today on the ABC television network. Our thanks to the Professional Bowlers Association and its executive director, Eddie Elias, and the Bolero Lanes. Prize monies have been furnished by the Professional Bowlers Association, the Milwaukee BPAA, and the Miller Brewing Company. And now this is Chris Schenkel saying so long from Milwaukee for Billy Waylew and myself. Air travel arrangements for Pro Bowlers Tour made through and promotional considerations furnished by TWA, Trans World Airlines. Today's tournament on the 1966 Pro Bowlers Tour was brought to you by Excedrin analgesic tablets, the extra strength pain reliever, Excedrin from Bristol Myers. By Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer, sparkling, flavorful, distinctive, available on draft, in cans, and familiar bottles. And by Firestone, the name that's known for quality tires and service throughout the world. The executive producer of Pro Bowlers Tour is Roone Arledge. Produced by Jim Colligan and directed by Mike Friedman. Associate Director, Joe Bush. Technical Director, Walt Kubelis. Engineering Supervisor, Hank Coleman. Lighting Director, Tony Azzolino. Unit Manager, Marv Bader. Maintenance, Frank Genero. Our thanks to ABC Chicago for today's television pickup. Now stay tuned for ABC's Wide World of Sports, today featuring the Daytona 500 Stock Car Championship race. And from the world-famous Holmenkollen in Oslo, Norway, the World Ski Jumping Championship, immediately following over most of these ABC stations.
A crime czar seeks asylum from the law in a mental institution, and Inspector Lou Erskine must risk his life posing as an inmate in order to bring the criminal to justice. Watch the FBI in color tomorrow on ABC.